Hey guys, and welcome on into the next NHL season preview show. And today we're going to be talking all about the New Jersey Devils, looking at their off-season moves, additions, and subtractions, coming free agents, possible lineup, team future bets, and player future bets. There's a bunch to go over with the New Jersey Devils this offseason. And to break them down, I brought in Straight Bet Ben, who came on last year's New Jersey Devils show to help break down the offseason again. Ben, for people who haven't seen you before, maybe give yourself a brief introduction.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Terry, for having me. Yeah, was on the Ice Guys show a little bit ago and linked up with you, and ever since then started the whole persona of Straight Bet Ben, just trying to give the best straight bets instead of all the parlays. You can find me on Twitter, Straight Bet Ben. I have a Discord in my Twitter bio, so there's all that. And sorry if there's too much noise right now. But yeah, man, I'm excited to be here and let's break some stuff down.
Awesome. Sounds good. We'll jump into the first segment. I'll go first here with this one. And as I always do, I'll start with the subtractions list. And there's two big lists here for the Devils. So some teams didn't really do too much this offseason. The Devils definitely did. Of course, the main move is the first one, is getting that starting goaltender that the Devils need. I think they had like 5 or 6 different goalies in the organization last year,
Yep.
and on yesterday or last year's show, I was thinking maybe one of them could step up. I'm thinking there's like 5 goalies here that have played in NHL games. Maybe one of them will step up. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen, and the Devils dealt with injuries as they have for the last few years. But Jacob Markstrom coming in here, and he's the guy, the stabilizing guy for the goaltending. And I think he's a perfect fit here for the Devils as long as he stays healthy. Alexander Holtz also traded away. Kevin Ball was traded for Markstrom. Holtz was traded away. Kaapo Kähkönen leaving is not a loss. Um, Sorry to Kaapo Kähkönen, but that's not really a big loss there. Brendan Smith, Keith Kincaid, Eric Holgren. Again, we're talking about those depth goalies that really couldn't step up. And then Michael McLeod, obviously, won't get into why he's not playing with the Devils anymore, but he's not playing hockey anymore. Thomas Nosek gone as well. And then the head coaching change. Lindy Ruff gone. And pretty much, I think the moment he was fired or not too long after, Buffalo scooped him up to take back their coach of the past. Sheldon Keefe, I'll start with coaching there, coming in here from Toronto. And really, he's coming into a really good situation here with the Devils. A lot of young players, and a lot of their issues that they had last year, they've addressed. So they brought in Markstrom, of course. Um, Adam Beckman, trade from the Wild. Beckman probably is an AHLer. He had the potential to be that goal scorer, but he's never really shown it in the NHL. So maybe he gets a chance in the fourth line with the Devils at some point and he plays well, but probably more of an AHL guy. But it's the defense. Bring in Brett Pesce from Carolina, that defensive guy that the Devils really need. Brendan Dillon from Winnipeg, a good physical defenseman as well. Stefan Nason, that's a great ad. Thomas Tatar, and then Zaboral, Hutchinson. Don't know exactly how much they play, especially Hutchinson, but um, overall, a lot of moves in the offseason, but I really think that the guys that the Devils lost um, are replaceable for the most part. And the guys they added, especially Markstrom, Dillon, and Pesci, are 3 huge additions. Ben, additions and subtractions, what do you think here about the offseason of the Devils?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think our new coach definitely took into consideration that we needed a new defense and we needed new goaltending, which was obviously our biggest issue and biggest Achilles heel last year. I was reading some things. He said we want to go big game hunting. So I think we touched that a little bit. I think definitely adding Markstrom, some veteranness and more veteranness proud to the team. That's huge, and I think that's kind of what this team is built off: some young, skilled, hungry guys mixed with some defensive, you know, powerhouses. I really like the Brett Pesci move. He's 6'3", 206 pounds, and I think he blocked the second most shots with Carolina last year. So that's another good, gritty kind of guy we get. Um, Steven Nason is a dog. I think he can really show his strength here. I think it could possibly be his last team he spends with in the NHL. So that could be a cool little experiment. Brandon Dillon, he's 6'4", 225 pounds, and he had 241 hits last year. So that's another gritty kind of guy that can step up because I believe we lost Kevin Ball and Brandon Smith, and that really just kind of left Siegenthaler, and the most hits he had last season was 80. So I think we get some good depth and good strength and grittiness from these guys, and those are the guys I'm really eyeing and to see what they bring to the table this year.
Awesome. Any thoughts on the head coach change?
Yeah, man, I really like Sheldon Keefe. I think he's a good guy. We all saw how the Leafs did their thing last year and how they continue to do it. So I think a lot of Devils fans were a little iffy on him, but I think what he focused on was the important things. He built from the net out, and I think that's what we need to do as a team, make it harder to score against. Because we were getting scored on too much. We had a good offense that could produce a lot of goals, but you can't always do that in hockey. It's a new game this generation. Like, let's score 100 goals. Let's do all this stuff. Let's kill it on the power play. But I think it's very important to build from the net out. Have a strong goaltending. Don't have seven guys. We're trying to figure out who works. Don't have. I just think he focused on the right things. And as a Devils fan, I'm very excited to see how this new formation works and these new lines that are to come. I think he just focused on the right things we need. So Devils fans, don't freak out because we got him. But I think he focused on the right things, and I'm excited for it. I think he definitely put the right players in the right positions. Now, when he said big game hunting, I was reading all those quotes. I don't know if we got that completely, but I think it's the right start for us to build a Stanley Cup team.
Awesome. We'll move on along to the second segment. And it seems like teams that have those big additions and subtraction lists seem to have kind of small upcoming free agents lists for whatever reason. And that's the case here with the Devils. Really looking at these lists here. Actually, I'll let you go first with this one, Ben. Who do you think the Devils should resign? Obviously, there's one name that the Devils are going to be resigning, but who do you think is the most important guy for the Devils to resign? Who would you be okay with if they let go elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Luke Hughes. Like, we want to keep him around. He's got that veteranness in him, and he's fast and all that stuff. Obviously, we don't care about Jake Allen. I don't care about Jake Allen. I just want to stick with. I really want to see how we build Markstrom, and that's kind of what I'm focused on. I don't care about Jake Allen. He's a good guy, good veteranness, has definitely done some well for the league. But me, I think it's more of it's a Luke Hughes. I really want to see us uh, stay strong with.
Awesome. Yeah, he's an RFA, so there shouldn't really be any issue. Of course, with his brother Jack playing with the Devils as
Yeah,
well, I don't see any contract kind of holdouts or any kind of issues there. So Luke Hughes is obviously the big name. Nathan Bastian is a good physical guy there. I think he's slated to play on the fourth line. I think that maybe the Devils could re-sign him, but really, other than Luke Hughes, everyone else on this list is kind of replaceable.
yeah, that's
So
exactly how I felt about it.
yeah, pretty easy segment there with upcoming free agents. But
Yeah, man,
now we've got possible.
they
Yeah,
added
go ahead.
so much that it's like that's kind of what I was always focusing on. I feel like last year they did it too, but I think this year they just really focused on what matters.
Yeah, and not a lot of 1 year deals either. they've got these
100%.
guys for a little bit longer. So
Yep.
here's a possible lineup. Of course, Luke Hughes, who we were just talking about, is down there in red. He is not going to start the season. He got injured um, in the offseason, I believe, or
Yep.
more recently. So he won't be starting the season, but he will obviously play sometime. Dawson Mercer as well. He's in a different color. He is yet to be signed. But as we record this on September 18th, the Devils are, what I've been reading is that they're close.
Yep.
So we'll see. This is going to go live tomorrow. So don't think we'll have any breaking news in between right now and tomorrow, but hey, never know. But Dawson
Yeah, you never
Mercer,
know with this
um,
team.
yeah, Dawson Mercer is going to get signed eventually. It's just a matter of time. And looking at that top line, Nico Hischier, Dawson Mercer had a lot of chemistry with each other. So I totally agree having them on the top line. Andre Platt scheduled to be there. And then that second line is maybe the most dangerous second line in hockey. I think a lot of teams would kill to have that as their first line, let alone the second.
That's for
That's
sure.
just scary. Scary to have those guys as your second line. So when the defense are focusing on Hischier and Mercer, Jack Hughes can put on a show, which he's definitely done in the past. The third line there, Stefan Nason coming in, going to play with Eric Holla and Thomas Tatar. I'm a big Eric Holla fan, of course, with his time with the Wild. He's a nice, speedy guy. Definitely has some offensive talent as well. So I like that third line. I think it's a little bit physical, but a little bit fast with some scoring ability. The fourth line, as most teams, a defensive fourth line. They've got some depth. They want to bring Curtis McDermott in, probably games when they're facing the Rangers because of Matt Rempe. We'll see Curtis McDermott in there. But I really like the forward group for the Devils, which is kind of hard not to like. Looking at the defense, Dougie Hamilton. The Devils need him to stay healthy. They need a full season from him. A big loss when he was injured last year. Uh, the two defensive guys that were brought in, according to depth charts here, could be on the same line together. That's going to be a very tough line to play against with if Dylan and Pesci are in the same pair together. And then the bottom pair, Kovacevic and Simon Nemec. Again, Kovacevic, I don't really know a whole lot about, but obviously Simon Nemec is a top prospect. So he'll be looking to cement himself. Maybe he gets moved on to that second pair at some point. Luke Hughes will probably be there at some point as well. And then goaltending. Markstrom is a starter. Allen, a capable backup, especially if the defense does play well. So overall, I really like this lineup, top to bottom. I think the only question marks are maybe with this third D pair, and then maybe the fourth line, but it's hard to say anything negative about this lineup. Ben, what do you think about this possible lineup for the Devils for opening night?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, these are dream lineups. I think Timo, Nico, and Jesper Bratt would be great together as well, offering a blend of skill, speed, finishing ability. And Heish's playmaking ability would complement Timo Meyer's scoring, and just Jesper Bratt's ability. So those are some lineups I wrote up. I like Palat, Hughes, and Mercer together, kind of like Plot's veteran presence and defensive ability, and this could support maybe if Jack Hughes comes through some nice dynamic play, while Mercer can develop his offensive game and do what he needs to do throughout the season. Who else we got here? I also put together Steven, Eric, and Thomas together. I think this could be a good mix of grit, speed, scoring touch, and it's ideal matchups against tougher defensive lines and all that. Um, let's see. Dougie Hamilton, like you said, we need him to stay good. Him and oh wait, we got Brandon. Um, Sorry, I'm having a glitch right here. Oh yeah, so I put Dougie Hamilton and Brandon Dillon together actually. His I like Dougie's offensive prowess, you could say, and Dillon's defensive stability could make for a really good, well-rounded pairing. We have Brett Pesci, who's now in the mix. We could put him maybe with Siegenthaler. Um, I think his experience and Siegenthaler's reliability on defensive play could really create a good shutdown pair. Um, Luke Hughes, if healthy, maybe we would want to put him on a third pair, but his offensiveness, I think, could compare because we lost John Marino, right? So I think maybe pairing him with someone like Simon or yeah, I think Simon would be good with Luke Hughes maybe. Um, just for good development, and I just think those two would maybe blend together. Uh, like you said, Jonathan, it's kind of up in the air. I think it kind of depends on game situations. Since we lost Ball and all that, so I think that one's up in the air, and let's kind of just see where they place them. But a lot of these line pairings, I feel like you can kind of put people with people and kind of just see how it works. I think the biggest issue we had last year was injuries, obviously. So we couldn't get the best line pairings, but I think this year we have a lot of flexibility and um, just new coaching strategies really that we're seeing being implemented. So I think we have some good foundation to work with and some good rookies and good defensive men. Um, that will all be good. And especially for Jacob Markstrom, like I said, we're building from the net out. So we have all these solid, we have young guys and we have a mix of veterans that are really going to help Markstrom do his job because that was our biggest issue last year. So I really like those line pairings I said, and I do like the ones that are written here. And I think there's a lot of room for just to see where guys do the best.
Awesome. Yeah, so I make the lines by going through a depth chart on a website. So, or a couple websites, I kind of look at the depth charts. But with preseason about to start, and like you said, a new coach, we could see completely different lineups than what we have here.
100%.
That's why
100%.
it's yeah the possible lineup. Just kind of look at
Hundred
how
percent.
things could look like.
Yeah, I saw all those, so
Yeah.
I was like, let me see what I can maybe put together as well to see who would do well because we have some new guys and we have some really good just veteran. I just love how they put this team together with the veterans mixed with the rookies now with a new goaltender. There's so many possibilities I feel, and I think we'll see it within the first few weeks to who works the best together, who's doing their job the most effectively, and as long as everyone stays healthy and we don't have injuries, I think any lines I said or any lines that are here, I think they're all very compatible.
Yeah, the Devils have a lot of depth now throughout the lineup.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the most important things. Depth wins playoffs and it wins Stanley Cups.
And speaking about Stanley Cups and playoffs, we are on Team Future Bets now, taking a look at the upcoming season here. So the Devils came in seventh in the Metro last year. So second from the bottom, but a 38, 39, and 5 record. Um, really shouldn't be um, a seventh place team's record because it's not that bad at all. But the Metropolitan was really good last year, top to bottom. Um, when it comes to the top four bets, as I do on every show, I kind of at least the top three here. I'm not placing a bet on the Devils to win the Stanley Cup right now. Stanley Cup bet is something I look at during the season. So once I've had some time to see how the Devils mesh, how things go, I could very well end up on a Stanley Cup ticket sometime during the season. President's Trophy, I'm not betting any team to win the President's Trophy because I don't want to bet a team to come in first and then flunk in the first round of the playoffs. There's no team I want to do that to, so no bet there. Win division. Oof, this is such a tough division, the Metro, but the Devils, I think, are going to be right there. I do think Carolina is going to take a step back this year. I do think the Devils are going to take a big step up this year. The Rangers. The Rangers, I think, are the team that the Devils have to compete with the most for the Metro. I think it's going to come down to those two: Rangers, Carolina, and Devils, and New Jersey, all in the top three. Not exactly sure how it'll figure out. So no play on the plus 230 to win the division, but I do think the Devils are definitely live to win the division. Make playoffs minus 400. Nothing you can really do with that unless you're parlaying it with something else, but wouldn't really recommend that. 105 or 100.5 points. They obviously had 81 last year, but we saw the offseason moves. Getting a good starting goaltender is huge. Improving the defense is huge. It's all about if the Devils can stay healthy. If guys like Dougie Hamilton and Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier can all stay healthy, and Jacob Markstrom, they can all stay healthy this season, and a lot of the other guys, the depth guys, stay healthy, the Devils are going to surely surpass 100 points. If they have kind of an injury season like they did last year, I could see them finishing in the 90s somewhere. So minus 125 for the over. I really don't have a play there. 90 plus points, no play there. 100 points. Really, for the Devils, I don't have any future bets to really give out here, at least for the team. We'll talk about the player future bets in a second. But if I was going to make a bet here, it would probably be the Devils to win the division. And then 110 plus points is a lot. That would be a lot to jump up to. But Carolina had 111. The Rangers had 114. So if the Devils stay healthy, they could hit 110, I think. Ben, team future bets here. Does anything on this list catch your eye?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, personally, I'm not a huge futures guy because I just don't like keeping money tied up all year. But the division, I would want a little bit of a better price. Like you said, they have to go through the Hurricanes, the Rangers, and let's not even sleep on the Islanders. Sometimes they're a strong unit as well. So that would keep me off. If there was a better price, maybe I'd throw some pizza money on it or something. Make the playoffs minus 100. I think this is a team that's gonna get past a playoff round. I think we're gonna get through one. If we get through two, that's amazing. But I think we get through one, which obviously would affect the points. So I mean, if we get through a playoff round, we get 110 points. So I think that's possible, but again, it's nothing I'm really gonna lay my money on. And maybe with Stanley Cup futures, it's kind of like NFL futures for me. If I like it, I'll place it now, and then I'll wait for a nice cash out later. Even if I don't think they're gonna win the cup, I will always place it, maybe for a possible cash out. But yeah, the only I wouldn't really personally play anything on this until I see later how it goes. But I mean, it's very I don't know if we'll get to the cup this year, but I think, like I said, I think we win uh, our first round, and then we'll see where it goes from there. See who we match up with. I think 110 points could get there. It's a lot of points, but it all depends of how far we get into the playoffs, obviously. So, um, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Awesome. Yeah, staying healthy. The Devils will have to stay healthy to get to 110
Yeah, I mean
points.
that was on like I said, that was our Achilles heel last year. I think if we stayed healthy, we would have seen a 2022-2023 season repeat. I think everyone kind of got gut checked last year with their performance, but listen, it came down to goalies and it came down to injuries. And um, I think we put the right guys in the right positions to succeed. Now, if everyone does their job on paper, this is a Stanley Cup team. Um, but like I said, paper doesn't always translate to results. That's why there's winning and losing bets too.
Exactly. And there was a lot of expectations for this Devils team last year to
Yeah,
take that next step, and then everything kind of went wrong. So
yeah.
We'll
Things you
see
can't
how this
control.
season. Yeah, exactly. We'll see how this season goes. Now we're looking at player future bets. Obviously, a lot of players on here, so I'll kind of zip through. Jack Hughes, 27 goals last year, only 62 games played. 22-23, when he played 78 games, he had 43 goals. If Jack Hughes stays healthy, um, I wouldn't go with the goals prop at 40 and a half, just because if he is on the line that he is with Timo Meyer and Jesper Bratt, both of those guys like to score too.
Hmm.
And really, I could see it being the goals being spread out. So I would go with Hughes over 75 and a half points. He had 74 last year in 62 games played, 99 in 78 games played in 22-23. So if you're looking at Jack Hughes props, which I would, he is one of the top centers in this league, in my opinion. 75 and a half points. That's where I go with him. Jesper Bratt had 27 goals last year in 82 games played, 32 the season before that in 82 games played. So back to back seasons, he's played in all 82 games, which is something you want when you're looking at player future bets. 83 points last year, so he hit his point total. The two previous years before that, he had 73, so he just fell short. Um, I want to know what line he's going to be on. I know he's had a lot of good chemistry with Jack Hughes. I'd really like him with Jack Hughes, and just not strong enough to pull the trigger on the point total or the goal total. Nico Hischier, 27 goals last year, 31 the season before that. His total is at 28 and a half. So again, really close to what he's done the last two seasons. But he played in 81 games in 22-23, only 71 last year. And he still was in within 4 goals of what he did the year before. 67 points last year, 80 the season before that. So again, I think it's kind of priced correctly for Hischier. Uh, if he stays healthy, I could see him hitting his point totals, but no interest for me there. Timo Meyer only played in 69 games last year, had 52 points, 28 goals. So if he plays a full season, again, I like him over both because he almost hit both of these last year in 69 games played. So if he can stay healthy, I like those two over. But the issue is that he's never played an 82 game season in his career. He did have 81 games in 2017, 2018, his second year in the league, but he's never really played in a full season. Now, the COVID years obviously messes things up, but
Yeah.
Jacob Markstrom, 23 wins in the last 2 years with Calgary. Now his win total's at 31 and a half. So he's got to get 8 more wins. The thing is, though, is he's going to be playing for a much better team here with the Devils than the Flames last 2 years. So,
And a team that hopefully can hold leads.
especially with him now on that.
Yeah.
So 31 and a half wins it's kind of a chunk for him to get. So no play there for me. Sheldon Keefe is the favorite to win the Jack Adams at plus 600. Um, with the fact that the Devils missed the playoffs last year, and with, like you said, the team they have on paper, he's the favorite. So not really a lot of value there with him, but um, plus 600 is still good if you do think he wins it. So for me, to summarize, Jack Hughes over 75 and a half points. I'm most likely going to be pulling the trigger on that because I like that number if he stays
I like
healthy.
it.
So I'll have to take
I
the
like it.
chance that he stays healthy, but I think he can this year. Ben, list of these player futures. Like you said, you're not really a futures guy that much, but do you think any of these guys are going to have a really good year? Does anything catch your eye on this list?
I know Markstrom's total has jumped a lot, but obviously he's going to be the ace for this squad. I'd love to see. I didn't know it jumped that many points because obviously I'm not huge into the futures market, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for him to get 32 wins. We just want to make sure he stays healthy as well. He's an older guy, so that's our always biggest concern with these veteran players is how much can they take really. But honestly, that's the only one. That's the main one that caught my eye because he's the main guy I'm keeping my eye on. I like the Jack Hughes thing. I think that's cool. I think what you said is very valid. If you have Heischer, Hughes, and Timo Meyer on the same line, who's gonna do the assisting? Who's gonna do the scoring? Who's gonna do this? So I think it can really fall into any of these guys. I like the points a little more because these are guys who they can do both. They can help in both areas. So the points, I think I would focus on personally if I was doing the futures, just because you have so many more opportunities to get there versus relying on someone to be that guy every single night. Um, yeah. So Markstrom, that win total would catch my eye. I know it's much more wins, but it's something I would put my money on if I was a futures guy, and I like your take on Hughes points. I think that's a good thing to grab.
Awesome. Yeah, and like you said, another thing or the power play for this team.
Yep.
There's going to be so like the power play is going to be so dangerous that
Mm-hmm.
it really makes sense to look at the point total.
Yep.
Unless you really think one of these guys is gonna lead in goals. Bra would be kind of interesting at 28 and a half if they spread it out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that goal total would be interesting, but yeah, Hughes points for me is probably going to end up being a client play. But that's it. That is the New Jersey Devils show. Everyone, make sure to go give Ben a follow. Straight Bet Ben. His Twitter link is in the description below. Thanks for coming on, Ben, and hopefully we'll have you on again next year.
No, of course I appreciate it, brother. Let's make some money this year and go Devils. And go Wild
Yeah.
too. Go for the Wild too, man.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Have a good
Of
one, guys.
course,
Thanks for
brother.
watching.
Thanks, guys.